We're going to take a look at some of the paranormal activity that's caught on cameras now that they have better than potato quality. So we have the top 20 paranormal events caught on camera. We're going to debug this, and if we can't, well, we're going to have you guys decide.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, you're the one with the button.
All right, playing the video now.
Most of us live normal lives. Work, hanging out, then it's back to the house, but every now and again we're reminded that things are definitely not what they seem.
That's from the movie.
For
Yeah.
many people, explaining some of the footage you're about to see
Dobby got out.
would be downright impossible. Fortunately, we have the footage to
That
back the
cat
claims up,
just went to
and
warp.
even for the most ardent
Yeah, that-
skeptic, these clips are about to turn you into believers in the fact that our world is weird. Because these are some of the
I think the ghost
scariest
sneezed.
and yet most unexplainable events ever caught on camera.
That's
Flash?
totally
Join
fake.
us as we have a look at
Flash?
20 paranormal
It's from the
events
Flash movie.
caught on camera.
Actually,
Number
it's from
20,
a studio
a
that
spooked cat.
did
To
special
kick things
effects.
off, we'll take you to Ontario, Canada, where a cat mother caught some really spooky stuff going on in her home. Kathy Gallinger, a 45-year-old lady, made headlines in 2022 when she claimed that she had gotten evidence of the supernatural. At the time, she explained that she had just moved into her home in Ontario and that she had noticed a lot of strange things going on. She was especially spooked by the fact that objects appeared to simply be moving on their own, and weirded out
Never
but
mind
still
that one in the
determined to get
glass
to the
case
bottom of it,
that's
she
sealed
decided to
shut.
set up CCTV cameras at different parts of the house. On one fateful day, she would appear to find what she was looking for. Her cat, interestingly
Yeah, it's like,
Salem.
yeah, Salem.
The cat's name is Salem.
I think so. I guess.
Is it? It's there. I can see it.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was 3 a.m.
Yeah. So we got like a little bit of like fuzzy stuff going around the doll, but that's about it.
named Salem, was sitting on its own staring at 2 nesting dolls when it suddenly got up and ran. But if you take a closer look at the footage,
Yeah.
you tell me that you don't
It
see something
looks
jump
like it
out from one of the
scares the
doll's
cat.
bodies.
It
As
tries
Kathy
to.
explained, the doll had actually belonged to her mother, and it dated back to the 1950s. The family heirloom or not, I don't think that doll would be in my house much longer after that.
Burn it.
Number 19, the Dobby Mystery.
Yep.
Just,
Dobby.
like anything called Dobby doesn't sound serious to me enough. Like it just it seems like they ran out of ideas and were like, let's just name it Dobby because it looks like Dobby.
You know how certain things seem unreal but suddenly begin to
Case
turn
in
up
point.
once more people believe in them? Well, it appears that J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series has become such a cultural icon that we're now seeing characters from it literally come to life. Back in 2019, Vivian Gomez, a woman based in Colorado Springs, raised a huge alarm after she claimed that she had seen footage of a creature that seemed to look suspiciously like Dobby the Elf, the popular character from the Harry Potter movies, and to make things even more interesting, she literally presented proof. As Vivian would explain, the creature
Meh.
had opened a door at her home and had come out. Then it sauntered onto the driveway and did a quick frolic before vanishing into the dead of night.
It looks like a small skinny homeless guy that's stripped down to his underwear that's high.
Yeah, it does like a little jig, but then it just like it cuts away as if somebody just deleted it from the video.
Sadly for her, she was unable to actually find additional footage of her CCTV camera because it was
Wonder why.
limited.
My camera only goes for 10 seconds, so it just cut off at that point.
Now, I know that you can't blame the camera at this point, but I really wish that it had just stayed for a little while longer.
Yeah, that
Some
looks
people
like
claim
there's
that
like
the
a wig
figure
on.
could have been
Yeah.
Vivian's 9-year-old son Bobby just goofing around, but considering that the
Yeah.
figure looked really lanky and had very bowed legs, I would doubt it. Perhaps the Dobby is real after all.
No.
Number 18, The Great Ghostly. Now, if you're a fan of literature and classic films, then you probably were a fan of The Great Gatsby, the magnum opus of F. Scott Fitzgerald. The book is one of the best-selling titles of all time, and it was also adapted into one of the most entertaining movies of our time, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire. While many of us have been thrilled by The Great Gatsby,
I don't know. If you have to have a video reference to reference the video you're watching that's somehow spooky, it doesn't make it any spookier. It just kind of makes it seem fake.
It's like explaining the joke. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
one of the most intriguing characters in the film was, of course, Daisy Buchanan. She was the leading lady in the movie, and many believe that her character was influenced by Ginevra King, a socialite that lived between 1898 and 1980, and who was rumored to have had an affair with Fitzgerald. In 2018, a woman named Christy Ranieri was on a walk close to the summer house owned by King when she spotted something strange. As she would explain, she had stopped to take a selfie when she got home and examined.
Yeah, like it's cool, it's interesting, it's kind of has a face-like quality.
Well, when you look at the chin, it looks like it's poking over the lattice, the little cross beams on the window. If that's on the second floor, that thing's literally pushing itself through the glass to look at you.
Yeah, so it's either
Because you can see through it.
yeah, it's like outside the window.
Yeah, not to mention that white-looking shoulder cut-off thing that's covering up the outside of the window, which there's no way that can be there because that's the second floor.
Yeah.
Examined the picture, and what do you know, there was something that looked like a ghost peeking out behind her. As Christie would explain, that can only be the ghost of Ginevra King, showing that she still
Allegedly.
is very much roaming around the world. I have my doubts, but I'd sure love to hear your thoughts on this one in the comments section down below. Number 17, aching for a haircut. Now normally if you go in for a haircut, you know what to expect. People like you seated in front of mirrors getting their hair done, but on this day I don't think the guys at this particular salon expected what they got. This clip, taken back in 2010, shows the moment that something truly spooky happened at a hair salon.
Okay, that can be a number of things, like the weight on one side of the sheet pulling on itself.
Or somebody could just put a balloon on the underneath it.
Or like
Those are pretty. Those aren't really that heavy.
yeah, like you can take a couple of magnets and stick them to the end of it, and it'll do the same thing.
Salon. According to the salon's owner, he had actually
And of
been
course
a
the
bit
video cuts
skeptical
off
about
right
installing
before you see
cameras,
what's actually in the
but
chair.
ended up being glad that he did. You'll notice that the entire salon, only a woman is getting her hair done, with 2 seats being empty. And then if you take a good look at the chair in the distance with the dark blue cape,
Oh shit, oh hell to the no. Hell no. Did you just oh shit, no.
Of course, it's
first of all,
yeah.
the chair raised up by itself, as if
It's the most superstitious person in the world.
Mhm.
someone had
And
stood
it
up from
just
it,
slapped
and
him in
then
the
the
face.
cape kind
Yeah.
of shrinks inside instead of falling down. The entire thing was crazy enough to scare the guy sitting close to
Oh,
it.
it didn't even
and to
fall
be honest,
down. It was
I would be
it
out
was
of there as well
like
if
getting
it were
folded
me.
in on itself.
Yeah.
Number 16, the
that's
thirsty
different.
ghost. You know that feeling when you've been saying something to someone but no one ever believes you until you show them proof? Well, you can only imagine how vindicated this woman must have felt when she finally caught some paranormal activity in her home on camera. Back in 2012, Donna Ayers began raising an alarm about the different weird activities around her house. That included, and especially the fact, that things were seemingly moving on their own. Looking to really nail the
That's
proof,
also a
she
metal
decided
cup.
to take a video recording, and right on cue, she captured something, literally in her kitchen, that decided to move a
There's
cup.
a magnet underneath it.
Oh my god.
Nah.
Yeah, like if that was a ceramic, then that'd be totally
The
different. Then
surface
we'd be looking
isn't
for
wet or
strings.
anything, it's all dry. So there's no reason for it to be moving.
To cover any bias, Donna did show underneath the platform where the cup was to reveal that there was nothing there, so the question remains, what on earth was actually moving that cup? According to the lady, she believed that she was being haunted by her late brother. If that is the case, I wonder if the guy's just thirsty in the great beyond or something. I mean, hey, when you've got to quench your thirst, you've got to quench your thirst, right?
You're
Number
going to be the most
15,
pissed off ghost because you
messing
can't drink your
with a
coffee anymore.
victim.
Shit.
Most people who experience paranormal activities tend to have first-hand experience literally on their own, and that experience can be quite harrowing when you're by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for a perfect example of this, we'll take a look at this guy. The clip, which was taken in November of 2017, shows a guy working late at the office when he suddenly hears an alarm going off.
And the glass door opens in the video.
As the clip will show, he decides to go and check it out and eventually came back thinking that he was done, but little did he know that whatever was behind the entire thing was not done messing with him. Visibly scared once again, the guy decides to go and check out what's happening. I don't know what happened behind the camera, but he was so spooked that he literally hightailed it out of there and ran away.
That could have been somebody underneath that table or behind those boxes.
Yeah, it's the things you can do with like post edits and like a lot of, you know, movie magic nowadays. It doesn't faze me that this would be faked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that he'll be coming back to work the next day, though. Number 14, ghosts in school. If you're a parent, you must have heard your children give some funny reasons why they don't want to go to school, like it's cold outside or they feel sick even when they're not, or perhaps the bus driver's just mean to them. Well, what about it if the school is haunted by a ghost? Back in 2017, CCTV footage would show a weird moment when things began to get kind of spooky at a middle school in Ireland.
And it's just the CTV videos seem way too perfect. I don't know.
The other thing is that even in international law, CCTV is actually illegal to edit anywhere in the world.
I know, but this doesn't look like normal CTV.
Yeah, I know. So somebody would have had to place those things there for the CCTV camera to pick up, so they can try to prove that, like, hey, we're real. Take a look at this. It's CCTV. It's illegal to edit.
Yeah, because like...
Next question is, what the heck is that thing on the floor next to the door?
Which door?
It looks like somebody stuffed a jacket behind those lockers and the arms hanging out. I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know
yeah.
if that was there before or if it moves.
I think that moved.
Ireland. As the footage would show, things began when a backpack suddenly flew off the top of a locker. Then, as if that wasn't enough, one of the posters on the wall decided to take a trip to the ground as well. And for a third act, the chairs in the hallway started moving on their own.
Now that looks like
According
it's
to
being
reports,
pulled by either a string or by one thing.
Yeah.
Now if that thing was spinning in a circle while moving across the hall, then I'd be more convinced.
I don't know.
Because that's harder to pull off.
It seems like the video cameras that are placed here are just too perfect for that to happen. Like,
Yeah, they're supposed to be placed places where has higher activity, period.
yeah,
Whether it be living or dead. So that's probably why it's like that.
I don't know.
The school in question had long been rumored to be haunted because the land on which it was built used to be an execution ground for criminals. But it looks like the guys are hunting for some vengeance and taking it out on those poor school materials. Number 13, ghost in the crib. Being a parent can be challenging. You're
Most of
constantly
these are
looking to
just
protect them
relatives
from
that are
harm,
saying goodbye
but
or
while
just checking up
maintaining your
on
children's
people.
safety
Yeah.
from physical danger is pretty easy, how do you protect them when there's harm from the other side? Back in 2019, Josh Higgins and Heather Brow, a couple based out of Michigan, made the news after they had shared footage of what they truly believed to be a ghost that was haunting their little girl, Lily. As the parents set up a camera to monitor their daughter, they would be shocked to find what appeared to be a...
Yeah, like if you look at this camera and then you see the quality of it.
It looks like somebody was just walking across the room,
Yeah.
and because these IR cameras that are made for like cribs and stuff like that aren't really that powerful, so they only go for like 5-10 feet. That's across the room, so that could have been somebody just getting up out of a chair going to the kitchen.
Yeah.
a specter moving through her room. And as you would expect, it startled the little girl.
Couple's nanny cam video of
Now that's different because
appears
it's
to be
only
something
about,
moving in
I don't
front of
know,
the baby crib.
about
The
4
parents added
5
that the
feet tall.
ghostly shape had been assaulting them, first the daughter and then Heather herself.
It scares us that it could do something else. I mean, there was even a morning that I woke up and I had felt like something was around like someone's hands were around my neck.
And according to paranormal investigators that were brought in to check out the scene, the man who had originally lived in the home had taken his own life, so it appears that his ghost may have had unfinished business in the home.
Yeah.
Seems like it might be time to move out a little earlier than planned.
It's just, why
Number
would that make him
12,
violent?
The haunted pot store.
He was
Back to
suicidal
stories
when
of
he killed
ghosts that
himself.
might be trying to make contact with the physical world. Our next story takes us to Oregon, where the owner
This
of
is
a
1:30
dispensary
in the
claimed that his shop
frickin'
was apparently
afternoon.
being haunted. In 2018, a
At least
man
according
named
to the
Andy
timestamp.
Gomez, who owned a pot
Okay, that's
dispensary,
11:42 in the
claimed
morning.
that he had substantial proof that his shop was being haunted by ghosts. And for that proof, he showed this surveillance footage. And just watch the pot
Now, that'd
jar
be
as it
different
suddenly
because it
begins to
tipped
move
over.
while he's arranging the place. To make things worse here, Andy added that he had felt a weird presence while the whole thing was happening.
As it was happening, I kind of felt like somebody was standing next to me, or like somebody was like right here.
And if that wasn't
Like,
enough,
oh my God.
check out the jar with the pens on the counter. Now keep in mind that this is a pot dispensary. Any doctoring of surveillance footage could land the guys in jail. Could we have a ghost looking to just simply burn some trees? Who really knows? Number 11, Ghost Feline. Now for something that just can't be explained anywhere.
the
Take a look
skinwalker?
at this piece of footage. Captured in 2019,
Nah.
this footage shows
And it
two
happened
cats
to happen
sitting
in
calmly on the
October.
front porch of their owner's home. It looks pretty chill. Well, you're about to see something weird though. Suddenly, one of those cats appeared to have been scared by something that was coming out of the shrubs close to the two of them. And that's when it decided to run for the hills, leaving his partner alone. But just as
It looks like a possum.
A possum doesn't fly at warp 3.
No, it's still in the shrubbery.
Oh,
soon
but
as the cat
freaking
takes off,
cat.
it
Oh.
seemingly
What's that?
vanishes.
There's another one
Now,
in the
where did he go?
sidewalk.
Yeah. But if you look like right next to the shrubs next to like the porch.
Yeah,
that-
I do see the possum, but still, that doesn't explain the cat going warp 9 to wherever.
the possum.
No, it's not the possum. The cat disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
rewind it like
did he
10
literally
seconds.
turn into a firefly and float away? Where on earth did it go? The
Yeah, the
craziest
possum's
thing
still there
was
underneath
that the
the
feline's
underneath the
partner
shrubs.
seemingly just
Yeah.
looked unbothered
Oh.
about the
Oh.
entire thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I told you. The cat freaking went to warp speed right as soon as it touched the ground.
No, it was a balloon this whole time. It just popped.
Either the cat was on his own wave, or he'd probably seen his partner do that before. But either way, it's some crazy stuff if you ask me. Number 10.
But it looks like the
Superhuman
cat was looking at the
speed.
thing on the sidewalk.
You'll probably want to buckle up for this
And
one
then the
because
tree.
it's the type of thing you'll need to see to believe.
Oh, yeah, this is
In
all done by
2019,
special
a
effects
mysterious
team.
video made the rounds that showed what appeared to be a superhuman or ghost figure saving a lady's life. The footage, which was from a local
As she is,
CCTV
like,
camera, showed the
instinctively
little
starts to vomit
unsupervised lady trying
because
to
of
cross
going
the
that
street
fast.
on her own.
Yeah.
You've seen the flash.
Obviously, things like this will rarely end very well.
A normal person
And
going
for
that
a
fast,
time,
you're gonna lose
you
your
kind
lunch.
of get the feeling that she's about to be hit. And then all of a sudden, a figure comes and grabs her literally out of nowhere. Nobody knows what the figure was or even how it managed to make the most unbelievable rescue you'll ever see. But whoever or
Yeah, the
whatever
flash
that
says he
thing
has
was,
to like
thank
slow down
goodness
his
it was
hands.
in the right place
so
at the
when
right
it
time.
makes contact with
because
you,
the
you
entire
don't like
situation
explode.
would have definitely gone
So
south
he can
Yeah.
pick you up and
if
move
it
you.
hadn't
But
intervened.
it also causes you
Number 9,
nausea. It looks like she was
talking
about
to
to puke.
nobody.
Yeah.
One of the most challenging jobs
Oh, a
is
bank
that of a security
CCTV?
guard,
That's
especially
the
if you work in a
best
public
one,
place and need
because
to
you
deal
can't
with
edit
different
those words.
types of people
Nothing.
daily. However, what if you had to deal with a literal ghost? In 2022, a story would go viral about a security guard at a hospital in Argentina who claimed to have spoken with a customer, even though all evidence points to otherwise. CCTV footage would show the security guard
Yeah,
who
this
was
goes.
working
This
on the
shows
night
that
shift.
yeah, you can have a
suddenly-
nightly encounter
Mm-hmm.
and not show any evidence for it, but you could swear saying like what Juicy said when they were in the lighthouse that he saw somebody behind him,
Yeah, but this
but it
guy.
didn't show up on the camera.
Yeah. So from what I gather, this guy's legit talking to somebody. Like he just
Yeah.
opened up the
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but it's kind of similar because, like I said, we can't see him on this camera, and neither did Juicy when he was on his camera
yeah.
looking at Eddie and Dose when they were in the lighthouse.
Suddenly
So this is
walking
kind
up
of something similar.
Yeah. So yeah, he opens up the I forgot what you call those. The divider. And then he starts
Oh,
talking.
the little rope barricade thing.
Yeah.
opening the
As if he's letting
barricade,
somebody in.
except that he was doing it for nobody. As the footage would show, the guard was clearly standing like he was attending to someone, and according to the guy, he was. Per reports, the security guard claimed that at around 3 a.m. that morning, an elderly woman came to the lobby claiming she had forgotten something in her room. And so he took her name down and gestured that she should go up, as we saw in the video.
What
The
was the
security
name?
guard even offers her a wheelchair, but she refuses, as evidenced by this clip. And after a while, the security guy just starts getting worried because she hasn't returned. And so he called up to her room and would be shocked
Was
to
this in a
find that there
hospital?
was no one there.
Yeah.
Even worse, hospital authorities would confirm that no one had been in the room the entire night. To his dismay, the authorities claimed that the elderly lady who had been in that room had died the day before their encounter, and the woman's name was the same one that he had written down on his clipboard. If there was ever a sign to quit your job, it's safe to say this was probably
Don't quit your
it.
job because of that.
Number 8, the baby pusher. Ashley Scott, a woman from Tennessee, has claimed that she's had several run-ins with the paranormal since she was a toddler. From ghosts visiting her in her crib to the spirits that she's talked to, she's claimed not to be unfamiliar with supernatural occurrences. So I'm guessing that this one wouldn't have been much of a shock to her. Back in 2022, footage from the room of Ashley's son Gavin surprised many people, as it showed what appeared to have been a ghost pushing the boy. As the footage would show, Gavin had climbed up on a shelf while he was in his room with Ashley's partner Chris. Then all of a sudden, this happened.
Have you
Now,
noticed
I
that
don't
he
know
looked
about
down
you,
and it didn't
but
happen?
I doubt that babies
Yeah.
just tip over and fall like that. Was the wind just too strong? Or perhaps it was a ghost giving little Gavin a nudge. Number 7, getting the right angle. Located in Omaha, Nebraska, the Museum of Shadows claims to be one of the most haunted museums in the world. They claim to have thousands of certified haunted
Yeah,
items,
hence the word
all
claim
of which
because
have been
of the
stored away
friggin'
safely.
Zach Baggins
While many
one.
might argue about the claim, the museum has shared several interesting pieces of footage to show the types of activities taking place, and this one definitely ranks as one of the craziest. Captured in
All-time,
2020, the clip shows what
wheelchair.
appears to be the basement of the museum where several artifacts are kept, and just watch as a chair begins to rotate.
Oh god, I hate that audio.
Yeah, it's like,
Oh.
you really want a headache, there you go. But no, like, I've seen wheelchairs move on their own, and most of it has to do with, like, the way the wheel's set, and it just slowly moves.
I've seen stuff on wheels move, but it's because of rats climbing on it or a cat pushing it or something like that, and nobody can see it because it's behind it, and then you freak out and run and not investigate.
Yeah. Like, the only time I've ever really noticed anything like that is because the wheels were warped and unbalanced, and the wheelchairs were old as hell, so they just move on their own.
Either that chair suddenly developed a mind of its own,
As you see
or
two
there's someone
eyes just
sitting in
peek
it.
over that
Someone who does not
coffin,
want
like,
to
Yeah.
be seen. Either way, I'm surely glad that I don't work there.
or the head of that mannequin.
Number
just
6, a dog-eat-dog world. Seeing animals being scared can be pretty awful. However, for this clip, I'd really want to see what the heck was going on. The clip in question would be uploaded to TikTok in 2021, and it shows the harrowing moment where 2 dogs appeared to have witnessed something out of the ordinary. To begin with, the dogs start the clip barking pretty loudly at something, and then all of a sudden they stop for some unknown reason and stand still. Now, this in and of itself is pretty strange, but it also even gets worse. Suddenly, the collar on the black dog gets yanked up and off, but we cannot see who or what had even caused it.
Okay.
Now for them barking and stuff like that before, Lucy and Oscar
It's
used to do
long
that
been
every time we
rumored that
leave.
dogs...
Yeah.
But now this part here, that collar could have got caught on like a hook or something like that, because those cages, you can get stuff snagged on, and those collars can easily come off.
Yeah.
You know, the easy release, just so your dog doesn't get hung up on anything.
And nowadays,
Now,
yeah.
if that was the buckle one, like what Lucy had, that's a different story.
Yeah.
That one
capable
is snug, but it's
of seeing ghosts.
not too tight.
Yeah. I don't know why it didn't. It unpaused. That was weird. But yeah, like it looks like it might have just got hooked up on the cage or like.
Yeah.
And the paranormal, so I'm not going to dispel the probability that this could have been more than just a regular sighting. Number 5. Granny Wants In. Joey and Amy Radke, a couple from Minnesota, made headlines back in March of 2022 when they would release footage of what truly was a disturbing sight. According to the couple, they had been out of their new home for some errands, but then kept the cameras on to ensure proper surveillance. And when they returned, they would be greeted by a harrowing sight.
Because then you see it, then it looks at the camera.
The figure appears suspiciously like an old woman in pajamas, and even Radke's pets were so spooked that they literally ran for cover when it appeared.
And the door opened.
The couple had actually been warned that their home had been haunted by an elderly woman who had passed away while living there, but they ignored all signs, and I doubt they needed any more telling after this. Number 4. Here for a pint. You know, the fact that a person has passed doesn't necessarily mean that they can't still miss their hobbies, and for our next clip, it appears that someone deceased is still hankering for a nice brewski. In November of 2021, this clip would surface online, showing
Now,
a
if
strange
the
moment
lever
at the Blue House Pub on Corporation
started pulling
Road
by itself,
in
that'd be
Hendon,
different, 'cause those are
Sunderland.
stupid
As
hard
the
to pull
clip would
back.
show,
Yeah.
a freshly
Because
poured
those
pint
have
of
to
beer
stop a
suddenly
lot of
tips
pressure.
over, spilling its content onto the floor below. The pub's owner, Darla Anderson, claimed that at that time she had actually heard that the location was haunted, but she never paid any mind to the warnings, especially
Is that
since
a
she never
kid
saw
behind
anything.
the bar?
Yeah, that's a kid behind the bar. Like,
Must be family member. Although when the health inspector shows up, they're gonna get a good whooping.
Yeah, probably, but
And they don't come announce. They're like, hey, here's my card. I'm not in my work uniform. I'm in civilian clothing. You're about to be inspected.
Weird before. Well, she may be well reconsidering now. Number 3, a jolly ride. Even if they're ghosts, I guess children will always be children. And like the live ones, it appears
What's
that
worse,
a lot of ghost
being in
children
the hallway
really
with a
just
ghost
can't
or
wait
being
to
in the
have
hallway with
fun.
a child ghost.
At least that's what
Yeah.
it seemed like at the Barnsley Antique Center in England.
Because they
The
have
shop,
bigger
which is known to
imaginations
sell
than
toys
adult
and other
ghosts.
antique items,
So they
got
can
an
do a lot of
interesting
shit.
visitor back in 2017. At that time, Daniel Parquette, a dealer of antiques at the center, suddenly
That's
saw
first
a
problem.
Bambi rocking
Antiques.
horse on the ground. He immediately became curious as to how the horse had found its way to the ground, especially since there had been no rain or strong winds around the shop the night before. And so he checked out the surveillance footage and was even more freaked out. The footage begins with the rocking horse being placed gently on a platform, and then suddenly it starts to rock continuously, even though nobody or no thing was coming in contact with it. And then it appeared that whoever was riding the Bambi was having too much fun as the rocking horse swung so much that it fell to the ground. And hey, if it is a ghost child, can you really blame them? Everyone wants to have fun every once in a while, right? Number 2, the nervous guard. If you're a security guard, it's important to always be alert, no matter what takes place. For Jay Brown, it appeared that this rule was literal because he was even on guard against what he thought was a ghost. Back in 2018, Jay posted a video on his YouTube channel where
I love
he
it when
claimed that he
security
saw a
guards,
ghost.
they get,
Sharing the surveillance footage from the hospital where he worked,
And it's
he
always a
showed
hospital,
himself
too.
sitting in the lobby and suddenly jolting up when he saw what he believed to have been a ghost.
I looked at it like, okay. I'm like, okay. So I hesitated, so I just threw something because I didn't know what to do.
Now, to be fair,
it's like not my first initial reaction to do unless like it's in my face. Like that's the only time where I'll like
He
throw
might not be
hands.
he might not be really afraid of it,
He's trying to
but
figure it
it's
out.
one of those things. Yeah, he's just trying to figure it out if it's gonna hurt him or not, and then he's either gonna do fight or flight.
Yeah.
Which that's his guard training. He needs to identify what it is first before he pounces.
I think
When I was working in Meredith Medical Center on overnights, there was one. It's called West Wing, on the 4th floor. It was never finished, but certain rooms were just for like overflow. Nobody was ever up there. It was the door was next to my office for clocking in and out, for the observer position when I worked there. It'd be like, what, when did I get there? Like 10 at night to like 7 in the morning or something like that. And there was, every time I looked down that hallway, all the lights would be off except for the security lights. And every once in a while, security would be called to go there, and because they would get the nurse's station, it would be like somebody was calling the nurse into their room. They even unplugged it from the wall, and it still happened. They even tried like turning the whole system off, and it was physically unplugged, and it would still go off.
Yeah, that's something you can't really explain too well on that.
Yeah. It was on overflow because of, I believe it was a multiple car accident or something like that, and they needed extra room in the ICU. So they sent all the patients that were not really like that bad in ICU. So they just sent the people that were stable, that they knew that would be fine, but they just need to be watched.
Yeah.
And unfortunately somebody did die up there. So
yeah, just to clarify, we're not trying to say everything is fake in this video, but there's some obvious ones.
Yeah. The thing is that this hospital isn't that old.
No.
You know how new the Littleton Hospital is?
Yeah.
It's that old. It's not really that old. Now, if you were talking about the one that's actually in Littleton that I was born in, that was like built in the 1800s. So there's about 7. There was like one main building, and then you can see where they kept adding on and adding on and adding on, and then they just didn't have enough room. Now I think it's a nursing home / police station. I think the nursing home's in the old rooms, and the police station's in the emergency room.
Yeah.
Bit of a whitish figure flashing in front of him, but while you might want to dismiss Jay, he's also claimed that he heard footsteps before and even caught a ceiling light fall on its own.
From the first video, but this time I guess it's getting used to me or something. I don't know. That's kind of creepy. I don't know who it is or what it is.
It could be just a patient saying, hey, or they're lonely because they died there and they don't know what happened.
The guy could be telling the truth.
What's going on?
Number 1, the pale creature.
Right, these things
in July of 2022, a mysterious figure made the rounds after being captured in
It's juicy, covered in nacho cheese.
It's
fairy bread?
No, you would still be able to see some of the color. I think it's Josh when he was in that white suit.
Yeah. It just looks like someone under the influence at.
Yeah. But the thing is this just 2 pictures, or is this just or is it a video? Because
it's 2 pictures, I think.
It looks like a plastic bag.
Warhead,
in the wind. That's all it looks like.
The footage in question had been released by a media house that focuses on paranormal activity, and it immediately sparked.
Okay, so it looks like a meth head.
I was gonna say, then the CCTV camera looks like it was made in the 1980s, running on a potato.
Yeah.
Sparked a massive debate amongst believers of paranormal activities online and those who were skeptical. The creature could be seen with a hunched back, slouching and trying to look for something in particular, although no one really knows what it was. So far, everyone's been dropping suggestions as to what this creature could be. Some would claim that it's an alien, while others claim that it could be a paranormal figure or a spirit.
That looks like
Some even believe it to be the Pale Man from the 2006 movie Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Freaking Harry Potter.
Your guess
just pull it up and start
is
screaming.
as good as anyone's. We live in a world that...
that just looks like somebody that can't see in the dark, that's either naked or just putting on a show type of thing.
Also, just another thing to clarify on this video right here, the one with the school, there's a window right behind that locker setup. So
but it looks like it's not even open though.
I know, but
you would see it. The only other thing that they can do with that locker is putting it looks like a whoopee cushion hooked onto an airbag, an air hose, and then they just keep pumping it, and it does this to the wall against the back of the locker.
And like I said,
the thing I can think of.
The quality of these videos are way too good to be CTV.
Well, depending on if they updated them or not.
Yeah.
This is 2017. They did have 1080p back then, at least.
Yeah, probably. Anyway,
because it is a school, they had the funding for it.
Yeah.
But it is Ireland, but they do really good school system.
Yeah. So I think that's gonna be it for this video. But leave your comments down below and tell us what you think about some of these videos. If you're a skeptic, let us know too. If you're not, go ahead and leave your opinions. We'll definitely do some more like these again soon. So anyway, see you guys later. We're not.
What?
I don't know.
We're gonna have to edit that out, right?
Yeah, we're editing that part. All right.
So that's all the time we have for guys. Leave a comment, hit subscribe if you like what you see. Also, put down in the comments on what you would like to see next, or you can always drop us a message. We are going to be starting up a Facebook, and hopefully we can get you guys to go over there and give us some suggestions. We do have some polls. We're going to start those once a week. We're going to try doing those around Tuesday or Wednesday. Other than that, we're going to head off. See you next time.
All right, later.